Hyun felt the vibration in her chest as she continued towards where the guards were located. The feeling was something foreign to her, which made her anxiety increase. Her legs pumped harder as she made her way towards her destination. A bright light seemed to appear, so powerful that Hyun had to turn away. "What is happening up there?" she wondered. Shading her eyes with her hands, she pushed forward. Reaching the city walls, there were hundreds of guards running around, getting into position. Looking up at the top of the wall, Hyun could see guards lined up. She could only see the top of the guards, but she wondered if E was up there. Feeling a little lost, she thought about someone that may know where they were. Going up to one of the guards, she yelled out over the noise being made. "Do you know where Idrenis is?" "She's at the top of the wall, ma'am," he informed her, and then continued on his way. "Hopefully she can help me find him," she whispered and ran up the steps. They came over the wall like a tidal wave. The guards were highly skilled and were able to mow down the enemy with precision. There didn't appear to be much wasted movement as the guards swung their swords and killed tens of monsters. With the number of monsters present, it helped to keep back the main force of them. Han was impressed by how they didn't take too much time killing the monsters while making sure to delay the ones behind them. Occasionally, the mages would fire off large-scale magic and hit the main body. Though this may not have done anything for them, it did provide a little breathing room. While everyone was fighting, another group of mages came up the stairs to relieve the ones who had taken part in the first attack. Those who were being replaced looked exhausted, drained of everything inside of them. "Begin volley!" Idrenis called out, starting the second major attack. Like the first, another wave of fire arced over the wall and landed on the main body of monsters. As the mages were killing off the monsters in front of the city, those who were in close combat were finishing off the remainders that were scaling the wall. Once the monsters on top of the wall were killed, everyone who was able started tossing the monsters off the wall. This allowed them to make room for the next wave. After this was completed, the red team of mages stepped forward without stopping their attack. The blue team, those with swords and shields, stepped back and were quickly replaced with a new blue team of guards. Impressive how you can quickly cycle out tired guards for fresh ones, Han remarked to Idrenis. Sighing from the constant focus of the battle, she looked at Han. "Yes, we developed this as a method to maintain pressure. Normally, the monsters are not as focused with attacking in this manner. But after we developed our weapons, there were some that thought that the gods may retaliate. I, along with others, realized that we might be faced with a battle unlike the others. The armor that they are wearing is a mixture of metals and mana stones. Through the use of the armor, they can draw in more mana than a normal person would be able to. That explains how they can maintain such a continuous stream of fire magic." Han nodded his head, impressed. "The simulations we ran had us able to attack the monsters for several weeks continuously. With the time the usual overflow lasts, this would give us a wide margin of error." Idrenis tried to sound confident. "You think the simulations are wrong," Han stated. Looking him dead in the eye, Idrenis said, "I have participated in enough battles to understand that plans are only useful up to the moment of the first initial attack." Leaving her to watch over her men, Han walked over to his group. There were mixed reactions amongst them as they viewed the efforts of the guards. "Queen, I want you to provide a little relief for them. Have your minions summoned beyond our sight. Continue to summon them until I tell you to stop," Han commanded Queen. She stepped away from them and began to murmur her summoning spell. Han closed his eyes and pictured the image of the summoning magic. With no one watching them, Queen wasn't impeded and created a massive hole leading to her realm. From inside came out undead cyclops, giants, and several bone dragons. In addition were the thousands of skeleton soldiers and undead knights. If someone had seen this sight, they would have been terrified by it. It was as if the underworld had opened its gates and released its power. The bone dragons were amazing to watch, as they blew out a cloud of poisonous gas. It covered millions of monsters, killing them almost instantly. Seeing the dead monsters, the surrounding ones jumped on top of them and began to devour them. The Cyclops shot out a petrification attack and turned hundreds of them into stone, and the giants waved around a giant bone club. Of the larger undead, the giant were the least powerful but was still impressive. Riding on top of horses, the undead knights looked graceful as they crushed everything in front of them. They plowed open several hundreds of monsters and used their swords and spears to cut everything that wasn't trampled. Idrenus watched the battle as it progressed. Several hours had passed and they cycled through several red and blue teams of guards. She was proud how they were willing to put everything they had into the protection of the city. It didn't start immediately, but she began noticing a shift in the movements of the creatures. They had been attacking in the usual massive numbers, but the amount was slightly decreasing. Anyone else wouldn't have noticed such a change, but with her command and battle skills, she noticed it. At first, she questioned herself, but now she was convinced. She couldn't think of a reason why the number of monsters would decrease, considering the gods were trying to wipe them out. Did another power step in to help us? Idrenus said to herself. Even their estimates had them winning this event. In the back of her mind, she didn't believe this to be the case. Idrenus was confident that the city would be overwhelmed. As the sun was setting, the monsters would usually calm down, but they were still going strong. Turning back, she looked towards the center of the city and where the priestess was being protected. If only I could take you away from this place. A place where you did not need to shoulder this burden, where you could go back to being the laughing child I knew you as. I would trade this city if it meant that you could be safe and happy, Idrenus thought to herself.